everyone. This is James Templeton with the Templeton Wellness Foundation. It's great to be with you again today, and we have quite an interview today, and we're here with someone that's a real expert in health. And I know a lot of you like juicing, a lot of you are familiar with juicing, or you want to get into juicing more and you want to know more about juicing. Well, today we've got the expert, probably the foremost expert anywhere, and none other than the juice lady is here with us, Cherie Calbom, and she's here with us today. And I'm so excited to get to talk to her. I've known her for quite a few years, and we're good friends, and it's great to have her on with me today and to share her story and the things that she's doing today and her expertise. And she's done a lot in her life, and so she's going to talk about that. But first, I'd like to mention my book. I used to have cancer, how I found my own way back to health. And if you don't have this book, check it out, because this is about my story, about what I did. I've been a survivor for 38 years from stage 4 melanoma cancer. And this is about what I did back then. And it's quite a story because, I didn't know anything about the things that we talk about here at Templeton Wellness, but I learned really quick because I knew I had to do something if I was going to survive. So the book talks about that. It also talks about what I would do if I had to do it over again, because I've learned a lot over the years. So check it out. And I know you'll like it if, maybe a friend or family member is going through, a cancer diagnosis. So it's a great book for them to hopefully get inspired and to know that, hey, if I can do it, then why can't they? You just got to roll up your sleeves. You got to do the work, of course. But, we try to lead you in the right direction here at Templeton Wellness. You need to educate yourself before you make that most important decision. After you get those 3 words, those 3 most fearful words, that none of us want to hear. But once you get those words, now you got to make a decision what you want to do going forward. So educate yourself. Take a week or 2, educate yourself. Don't get in a rush. Like, you don't have to do something the next day in most cases. So anyway, also check out our other interviews on Templeton Wellness. We have people that have great stories that have been through cancer diagnosis, many of them stage 4 cancer, and they're doing great, 10, 20, 30 years later. And, I know you'll be inspired. They all did different things. Some are very similar, but you will learn what it takes to overcome cancer. Also, check out our expert interviews like we're going to have today. And we've interviewed, I feel, some of the top experts when it comes to health and cancer in the world. So these people can educate you really quick, and they'll get down and tell you the real important things that you need to know about. So check it out. Check everything out. Also check out Templeton List. Templeton List is our restaurant guide. It's a guide to the healthiest restaurants in America. It's something that we've compiled for the last few years. We've got over 6,000 restaurants now, and it's easy. It works off of Google Maps. You can use it on your phone. You go there, it gives you directions. It's just like when you need to go somewhere and you're looking for something, it tells you, like Google Maps, it tells you everywhere where you want to go, gives you the directions. So TempletonList.com, and tell your friends about it, because it's a great tool to have. It's the healthiest farm to table organic restaurants in America. So thank you for doing that. And as I said earlier, we're here today with Cherie Calbom, and Cherie is the expert when it comes to juicing. And she has quite a story herself. And she has written 35 books, and she's a nutritionist. I mean, she's done a lot. She has these unbelievable books. She's going to tell us what book that you should get, especially because we're dealing with cancer here for most people. And she's going to let us know all that. But, I'm so excited. And Cherie's a real good friend. And and it's always good to see her. And I saw her at a conference here a while back, and I said, I got to get Cherie, and interview her, because for some reason I haven't done that. So anyway, Cherie, it's good to see you today.
Hey, it's great to see you. So good to
Yeah.
be on your
Well,
show.
thank you.
Very exciting.
It's so nice to see you. It's always nice to see you and Father John, and we spend some time. And when you were living up here in our neck of the woods in Idaho, we got to spend a good bit of time together and have dinner and all that. It was wonderful. And now you're down in Scottsdale, Arizona, which is like paradise this time of year.
Yeah.
And it's like we're up here in the cold part of the world, and you're down in this beautiful desert. Nothing better than the desert in the wintertime. So anyway, I'm so excited. But a lot of people are just getting into this because they've been diagnosed with cancer, or they've got some other issue they're dealing with, and they hear about juicing, they hear about diets, they hear about souping, which you also are an expert in. And it's such a big thing, for people to kind of get educated. And you're the one when it comes to this juicing uh, thing. And tell us, before we get started really well, how in the world did someone like you, because I know you used to be, you used to work in Los Angeles area, and you can tell us a little bit more, because it's a very interesting story how you know have written 35 books on health and nutrition and juicing, and how you got into this, because I got into it, and like I talk about in my book. And I know you got a great story because I've heard it. So let us know how all this happened.
Well, you're right. I have a story, and I'll start at the beginning because we were talking about this earlier. I
Yeah.
was working for Pat Boone in Hollywood, and when I got really sick, and it was a very exciting time. I was meeting a lot of very interesting people
Oh,
and
bet.
attending wonderful events, and then I got sick, and chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia were the diagnoses.
uh,
Finally, but not in the beginning. People didn't know what to do about those conditions.
yeah.
Just to say, I'm tired. I feel terrible. I feel like I have the
Yeah.
flu all the time. I ache all over, and it was like head scratching. And then some doctors tried to say to me, "Well, it's all in your head." And I said, "No, I know it's not all in my head. I'm single and very young, and I'm in this exciting environment and meeting all these interesting people." One little aside, I remember one evening, it just came back to me, Kathy Lee Gifford set me up on a blind date with Tom Netherton, who was on the Lawrence Welk show. Well,
Oh.
very young. That was very exciting,
Oh, yeah.
And there were a lot of things that were exciting in my life. So it's not that I'm depressed. No, I do. It's not in my head. It's real. And nobody knew what to do about it. And I finally was so sick I had to quit work because I just wanted to sleep all the time. That's what chronic fatigue syndrome does, and you feel like you have the flu.
Yeah.
And it was just nasty. And so I thought there's got to be an answer because I'm always a let's figure this out kind of person. There's got to be a root cause. Something caused this. And so doctors were off the picture out of the picture. They weren't helping me. So I went to Health Food Stores, talked to some people, and was told I was doing everything all wrong. I love junk food, fast food. I was a
Hmm.
sugaraholic, and I hated vegetables. Like
Oh.
big setup for ill health. And so I heard about juicing. There were no books really on juicing except the old Norman Walker book. I don't know if you remember that. It
Oh,
listed
yeah.
1
Yeah.
to 30 or 40 something lists of vegetables you combine for different conditions, but no
Uh-huh.
recipes. You just throw in what you think you should throw in. And I got my first juicer and went on a juice fast. I did a 5-day juice fast, just drinking juices. And here's the part your audience really needs to listen to. On day 5, my body expelled a tumor this size, the size
Oh,
of a
my God.
ball, and it had blue blood vessels attached to it. We know now that that's angiogenesis. The
Oh.
of blood vessels to feed a tumor. It looked like somebody cut them. I was young and single, and I was like, "Jeepers creepers, what's that?"
Oh my gosh, yeah,
And got rid of
scary.
yeah, it was scary, and but I didn't have it tested, but my mother died of breast cancer when I was 6 years old, and I was following in her footsteps. And so when I got rid of that and I assumed it was cancer, um, I thought tomorrow I'll be well. I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and it'll all be gone. That was making me sick.
Mhm.
I did not wake up well the next day. I was on a journey of healing. And this is what I tell everybody to encourage you. Stick with it. No matter how you feel, stick with it because you're doing the right thing and eventually
Mhm.
it's going to pay off. But I had to continue or embark on, not continue, embark on a very healthy diet of juicing, smoothies. And when I mean smoothies, I don't mean a whole bunch of fruit and yogurt.
Yeah, yeah.
Mean vegetable juices and putting an avocado with that and blending it up and making a smoothie kind of cold soup. And I did soups and stir fries and salads and some ancient grains. I went vegan. I'm not vegan now, but I went vegan for that period
Mhm.
of time. And then I did some short juice fasts here and there, a day or two. My body was detoxing, it was rebuilding, and there are ups and downs with that. And I had some days that were worse than when I started, it seemed. Well, my body was detoxing.
Yeah.
I remember one day my dad said, "I think you're killing yourself on this diet." And I said, "You know what? If I die on carrot juice, that's my choice because I have no other option. I don't know what else to do."
Yeah.
It took me 3 months, but one morning I woke up and thought, "Wow, somebody gave me a new body last night." I felt like $1,000,000 and called that the greatest cure on earth. We think of cures in our society.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I cured and I went back to Southern California, my friends, and back to life and being very young and in a circle of young single people. Everybody was going out for burgers and pizza and spaghetti and all that
Oh
nasty
yeah.
stuff that had
Yeah.
made me sick. But I thought I'm cured, so I could just go back and join them. And my symptoms started coming back, and it scared the living daylights out of me. It's like anybody, that you convinced you're cured of cancer and then whoops, something comes back. It's like very scary. And I thought, this has got to be a way of life. My juicing, my raw foods and good foods and organic foods and all
Mhm.
the holistic things I was doing. I really can't do that anymore. And it was kind of a death in my soul of,
Yeah.
oh, I love this and I love that. And it was letting go of this. And it was a journey. It was, how much can I get away with? Not much.
You gotta make some new friends sometimes, don't you?
You do. And there aren't too many when you're really young. There aren't too many people that are really sick and highly motivated.
No. No.
So
That's good.
uh,
That's true.
it was a little bit of a lonely journey, but I discovered I can go out and even then, and I can order a salad when they're all ordering pizza, right? And I can do better than that. So it was a journey of learning what to do. And I always encourage people, it's worth it, no matter if you feel like it's a death to your soul. And I remember counseling this couple one time when I was doing my internship at a medical center, and they ate the same sandwich every day of their life, the same
Same
sandwich.
old thing, yeah.
Yeah, with the white bread and all. And I said, "Really, you can't do that anymore. You need to, vegetables and salads." And I was giving them a whole layout. They started crying. There are foods that are so important to some of us that it's like a death in our soul of, "Oh,
Yeah.
no, I can't have my favorite thing anymore." And it just brought them to tears. But all I can say to everybody I counsel, it's worth it all. When you start feeling good, and that, and
Mhm.
so many people that we've worked with know that when you start feeling good, it's worth it all. When you were feeling terrible, when you were sick, when you had a scary diagnosis. And I always say to people, stay the course and keep juicing and keep making those good choices and saying no to things. I worked with one young woman who had MS, and we got her to the point where all her MS symptoms were gone. No doctor would tell her she's cured. No one would say anything like that, but all her
Yeah.
symptoms were gone.
Symptoms were gone.
Right. So that she was happy She was symptom free. And one day a relative came over with some wine that he thought she should just definitely, it was so good. Try a little small glass.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
She kind of said, no, no, no. And then, oh, well, okay. And she said some of those symptoms started rolling back in. A few hours later, it was like the scariest thing. And she said her new motto in life is nothing on earth tastes as good as good health.
Isn't
And
that
that,
something? Yeah. And it's like your body accumulates lots of toxins and heavy metals and who knows what else, probably parasites and
mm,
yeast and candida and all these things that build up. And we're bombarded with toxins from the food, pesticides, glyphosates, all that. So
oh,
so the juicing must really start to push things out.
it,
It's powerful. The energy of organic foods is very,
oh,
very powerful. I mean, I know
are.
just from what I did when I first started, it took me about 3 months. I heard you say 3 months
Mm,
earlier.
magic
About
number.
3 months, and I started to feel like a different person. It
Mhm.
took about 3 months. So people out there don't think it's going to happen in 2 or 3 weeks. It takes a while. And then you got to stick with it. You can't just go, oh, I feel great now. I'm going back to the old lifestyle. No, the God or the universe or the higher power, whatever you want to call it, is trying to get your attention. And
Yeah.
like, hey, you're on the wrong track here.
Exactly. You have nailed it. So it is, you talked about live foods and detoxification. So in our live foods, our raw foods, our juices, things that aren't cooked to death, maybe just
Mm-hmm.
lightly steamed, dehydrated, or raw, we have our vitamins are not destroyed, our enzymes are there, and our photons, our biophotons, those are,
Yes.
I'll talk about those more in a minute, but they do start detoxifying the body. And it's more, for most of us, a slower detox. It's a more gentle but daily. And then sometimes we do feel more symptoms as more stuff is coming out, because those antioxidants, especially in our live foods, bind to those toxins and carry them out of the body, so that we're starting to get that stuff out of there. I call it the sludge we've been collecting for years, and it's stored at the cellular level, in the tissue spaces, in our organs of elimination.
Mm-hmm.
It gets stored up all over our bodies, and as we start cleansing, it starts coming out. And then also our phytonutrients, um, things like luteolin and apigenin, which are found in celery and peppers and a whole variety of other vegetables. And I have whole lists of them that I give to.
Yeah.
They act like nature's scissors. So back to that angiogenesis for a moment that I talked about, where the body will grow blood vessels to the tumor to feed
Uh-huh.
it, starts cutting that off, then the tumor doesn't get its food, and it starts either shrinking, or maybe we can just eliminate it if we're doing something like a juice fast where we're really doing
Mm-hmm.
a major cleanse. Then the body can just eliminate it. And I've talked with some people, one woman in particular I think of, I worked with her actually, and she ended up doing a 3-week juice fast because they'd given her the ultimate death sentence: go home and get your affairs in
Bears
order.
in order. Yeah.
There's nothing more we can do for you. You have cancer throughout your body. It's metastasized. And she did the 3-week juice fast. And at the end of that, a large tumor just fell out of her body. And from,
It's too bad that people believe that when they're told to go get their affairs in order, there's nothing else they can do, because there's always something they can do.
right.
And a lot of the people that watch us are probably going to watch this have had that told to them. So it's never too late. Just don't mess around. If you've been told that, you got to really get busy and
Oh,
start cleaning house, I guess, or and start
mm,
getting to the root of the problem, because
a-
it doesn't just happen. Just like what you said, you were living it up, eating lots of sugar and all this. Well, sugar and all this kind of stuff feeds cancer.
mhm.
So, I mean, that's the culprit. And this angiogenesis, that was, these uh, blood vessels, that are there. I mean, that just shows once you start to starve it to death, it can't survive. It's all about starving the cancer to death. It has to have certain things to survive.
Oh, it does. It loves sugar, as you said, that's probably its favorite food, and it
Mm-hmm.
likes an acidic environment,
Yes.
rather than a more alkaline, or pH balanced environment. It likes a very acidic environment, and so what is acid forming in its final breakdown? They measure the final ash. Well, it's the standard American diet: meat, dairy, grains, sugar, coffee, black tea, alcohol, junk food. Those are all acidic in their final breakdown, not in your mouth, not in a test tube, but in their
Yeah.
final breakdown. And what is alkaline? The things we don't eat enough of: vegetables, the fruit, seeds and nuts, sprouts, and some of the whole grain. No, not more of the quinoa is a seed, but the grains are acidic in their final breakdown. So it's the things we don't eat very much of in our society that are alkaline, and we get very lopsided, and a lot of people end up very acidic. That's a wonderful environment for cancer to thrive in. Cancer's anaerobic. They don't like oxygen. They don't like alkaline,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't like a sugar-free diet. That's for sure.
No, they don't.
If people go in that direction, boy, you're turning the whole environment around that isn't conducive to cancer growing. So this, I always say to everybody, many people choose different paths, as you know, for how they're going to deal with the cancer. But whatever path you choose, this has to be a basic. Your dietary changes, what you eat and what you drink, and juicing should be part of everybody's diet um,
Mm-hmm.
plan. So people have said to me a lot, well, I'm diabetic on top of everything else. I have cancer and I'm diabetic. My doctor told me I can't drink any juices. And that's not true. What juices you can't drink are fruit juices. They're high in sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And when people hear the word juice, they think fruit.
Yeah.
Most medical professionals think fruit. And so I would agree with that. Fruit juice, straight fruit juice is not a good idea. Vegetable juices are a fabulous idea, and especially your greens. I have worked with so many people for using different greens for different things, and it's been so marvelous for their healing and the turnaround. So, how do you incorporate all this and put it together? Um, if you want to keep your sugars very low, I even flavor with lemon. But if you want to have a little bit of sweetness, then maybe half a green apple, organic, always
Mm-hmm.
organic. You can add some carrots in there. They are the one of the highest sugar vegetables, but if you dilute that with very juicy greens, and surprisingly, zucchini has a lot of juice. Cucumber has a lot of juice. Celery has a lot of juice. So if you kind of rotate around the high juice vegetables, then you add in some greens and always rotate those around. Don't just get stuck on, oh, I'm going to juice kale every day or chard every
Yeah.
day. But rotate them so you
You
get
need
a.
the variety. Yeah.
Mhm. And then spinach and parsley and green leaf lettuce, and maybe some herbs you want to throw in there from time to time, or sprouts. All of that is excellent, but change it up. You know,
Mm-hmm.
then ginger and turmeric I add often. Those are big cancer fighters. Um, Turmeric, there are over 6,000 studies on turmeric, not all about turmeric and cancer, turmeric and a whole variety of things.
Yeah.
Turmeric is excellent cancer fighter. The curcumin in the turmeric, the bright yellow orange coloring, it's responsible for that. It's a big cancer fighter. Lots and lots of studies on that. And if you want to really improve the absorption of curcumin, then put in a little bit of black pepper, stir it into your juice, like
Mm-hmm.
about an eighth teaspoon, a sprinkle to an eighth teaspoon, and stir that in. Studies have shown it increases absorption of that 200 to 2,000%
Wow.
effective absorption. So I'm just kind of putting together some recipes,
Yeah.
everyone watching, and some ideas. I've got tons of recipes in my book, and
What's the best book for someone to start off with? One of your books?
So I think the best book is My 50 Different Ailments, and I have a chapter on cancer, and it's the Juice Lady's Guide to Juicing for Health. It's a spin-off from my first book, Juicing for Life, that sold over 2 million
Oh,
copies.
wow.
And it's you look up what ails you. It's all in alphabetical order. It's like a little juice encyclopedia. And I have the juices, the nutrients, and the diet that help those conditions. And how I put that together, there were no studies on juice. There's not much, even to this day, there's not much money in studying juice, but there were a lot of studies on nutrients that help those conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up the nutrients that help the conditions and then found the vegetables and fruit that were highest in those nutrients and designed recipes. And it's been a very effective tool for a lot of people. I've heard from people all over the world who have said, wow, I got your book and I'm healed of whatever. So I can say, because we're talking about cancer and I want to focus in on that for sure today, I've had people tell me they had no money, right? They were wiped out. A lot of times
Mm-hmm.
cancer, it just wipes people out financially, and they had no money left and no hope, and got on the juicing and the dietary program and healed. Just with that alone, and maybe some supplements. So there's great hope. I'm not telling you just to do that, but I'm giving you hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are people in that category who just say, I'm totally strapped out. I have no money left at all." And I hear from people probably almost every day, um,
Mm-hmm.
in that category of, "I just have no money left." But don't give up. There
No.
is great, great hope for you in making changes. But I want to say something about strictness. Um, our society, when it comes to food, doesn't teach strictness at all. It's
Mm-hmm.
like enjoy, all the commercials,
Yeah.
showing people having fun and eating bad food, right?
Right.
And to get well, we must be very strict. That's what I found for
You
myself,
do.
and I found it for the people I've worked with. You must be very strict. It's worth it all, but we are not geared up to think that way, that,
Mm-mm.
I'm out to dinner with family and friends and I can't just cheat tonight.
Yeah.
But we
You
really
gotta be. You gotta roll up your sleeves, and you gotta like say, look, I'm gonna do this. I'm putting 100% into it because
right.
when you're sick, you don't have another choice.
No.
What are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna do it halfway. You're gonna get halfway, results. And
Mhm.
that's not what you want. You want to eliminate this problem. And the only way to do that, like you say, is you got to be strict. You got to really stick with it. And, down the road, once you get well, you can't just go back and live the other lifestyle. You've got to, maybe not as strict, but some people would say strict forever. But I think
Mhm.
you can, be kind of graduate, but you learn to stay on the right path all the time. And do the right thing. And when you get off, how you feel.
You do. And when you get off that path, you might get sick. I mean, you might get
Hmm.
cold or flu, or we were just
Yeah.
talking about sinusitis has been going around this year.
Yeah.
And sometimes you're just strict and on that path and still something gets you. But yeah, it pays to stay there. When I first started talking about strictness, I thought back to when I got my master's degree in whole foods nutrition from Bastyr University, and I thought about all the pre-med classes I had to take to get into that program.
Hmm.
And I'm going somewhere with this. It seems so ridiculous. Why am I taking organic chemistry? I hate this. I hate this. I don't even want to be here. But I have to do it to get into this program. So I'm thinking back to that and remembering when the professor said, "Now here's your substances you put in the test tube. Don't get a drop of the wrong thing in there. You wreck your reaction. Once you get your reaction, now look, you can pour stuff in there. It doesn't even affect it." So that's us. We're biochemistry. That's why I took all that. This is a big biochemistry thing.
Factory.
Yeah. And so we want to create a new reaction. So we have to be strict, right?
Yeah.
But just like you said, once you get there, then maybe you can be a little more lenient here and there. Not a lot, but
Yeah.
maybe a little bit
You
here.
just got to change your way of looking at food and lifestyle and diet and, the juicing. The juicing is just a wonderful way to detoxify. and kind of get started. It's gentle but very effective, isn't it? It's easy on the digestive tract. It's, and it's not like, oh, and I mean, it takes time. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you got all these bags of vegetables and not fruits, like she said, because, I didn't eat fruit for 4 years, no fruit at all. And people were like,
I
oh, you can't have fruit. And I'd say, I could have anything I want, but I'm not going because I know that it's got sugar in it. And
right.
there's phytonutrients and all that in the fruit, but I don't eat a lot of fruit to this day, but people like uh some of these programs eat a lot of fruit. And I've been to people's houses that had very serious cancer, and they're like eating fruit, bowls of fruit, and I'm like, ooh, you don't want to be, I'm not trying to tell them what to do, but I see that, and it's kind of like, ooh, it makes me nervous because
Do.
they've got this going on, and now they're eating all these bowls of fruit because somehow they lots of fruits and vegetables. You hear that. Lots of fruits and lots of vegetables. Well, I believe in the vegetables if it's organic, if
Yes.
it's been properly prepared and all that. But the thing is that I mean, I 100% believe in what you're saying, and I know. And once you start to feel better, you don't want to go back to that other place. And you
No.
gotta, you gotta, you gotta like really focus. And I mean, I eat a pretty good diet, and I take a lot of supplements, and I take, a lot of things, but I don't eat much sugar at all. Occasionally eat some like you know, uh, stevia or monk fruit or something like that to give you a little. But you can also have winter squash is very sweet. Like,
Yes.
sometimes squash soup is wonderful,
Oh, I love squash soup.
and all that. I mean, you're a great cook. You probably got a lot of great recipes in your books. And I mean, because I know I've had some of your cooking. It's great, it's wonderful. But the thing is that people have to understand that they need to get your book. They need to do it the right way. There's a right way and a wrong way, and you need to do it, follow the best, because she's the best at what she does. And that's why she's written all these books to help you, everyone. So, for example, I know you talked about the vegetables a lot and different things, but if someone had to, like, what's the top 10 vegetables that they should have? Is it more cruciferous type or?
Yes, and there are so many studies on the cruciferous vegetables. There are the ones that are famous that we all know
Mm-hmm.
about: broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower and kale. But there's also kohlrabi in
Mm-hmm.
the mix, and radishes as well, and watercress. And all of those are so rich in different phytonutrients and phytochemicals that are being discovered that fight cancer. So we
Yeah.
know some of the ones that have been known for quite a while, like sulforaphane and isothiocyanates, but now they're finding DIM, and I cannot tell you the long name that stands for,
Mm-hmm.
but just know DIM is a cancer fighter, and 13C they've discovered in there. So there are some major cancer fighters in our cruciferous vegetables. So I tell people, for broccoli, people love to steam the little florets lightly. We'll save those big old stems. What are you going to do with them? They're like kind of hard, but juice them. And you're
Yeah.
going to all of that goodness. And then the part of the cauliflower, that base that we cut off and toss, juice it. Radishes, I was always throwing away the radish leaves. I thought, what do you do with those? Now they're finding that even more in the radish leaf than the radish.
Oh, wow.
Abundance of cancer fighting phytonutrients. Juice those radish leaves, powerful. And uh, every part of your vegetables that you can juice. So all of those that I just named are huge cancer fighters. But everything I've named earlier, I did tremendous research on. I have some Zoom classes on healing cancer. That's the title of it, going on. And for my classes and my PowerPoints, I did a humongous amount of study on all the different vegetables. So from class to class, I just packed in all this information on the different vegetables. And now I can say zucchini's packed with the wonderful cancer fighting nutrients, and cucumber and celery, especially celery leaves, are packed with those phytonutrients, especially luteolin and apigenin. Eggplant, we could pick up any vegetable. Bok choy. Bok choy is in the cruciferous family as well.
I love it all. I love all this.
I love it all. And we can juice it all, and we can stir fry it, cook it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
We can steam it lightly. So we can get an abundance of these wonderful nutrients. And just the other day, I had a choice between it was some dish, eggplant or something else. I chose the eggplant because I just studied eggplant. It was like in the purple part, what's responsible for the purple in the skin, that phytonutrient is a cancer fighter. It's like, wow, all of this stuff God packed in there. Pretty amazing how it's all just an abundance of cancer fighting nutrients. So you can pick up any vegetable really in your market that's organic and say, "Mm, I've got a cancer fighter here." And
Yeah.
of course, garlic and all of our different spices. You can add garlic to your juice. Doesn't taste bad. Many cancer fighting properties in garlic.
Yeah. So whatever you do, everyone, do not buy anything but organic, because I mean, occasionally you can't find something that you really like and it's, seasonal or whatever, and it's not organic. If you've got cancer, it's better not to. You want to clean up your act as much as you can. And again, to get rid of the sugar.
Yes.
And do you eat any fruit at all in your smoothies?
I don't. I've just found my body does not do well with fruit. It does fine
Mhm.
with lemon and lime. So I do add those for flavor, one or the other. I can do cranberries, and they're very tart.
Yeah.
And that's about it for me. Uh,
Yeah.
I just avoid the fruit. So I'm right with you, James, on people fighting cancer by getting the sugars out. I know some people just say, "Wow, I cannot drink this unless I have a little green apple in there." So a lot
But
of people,
I mean, you can put uh like carrots in there, like you said. I guess you can use winter squash too, right?
you can. I've juiced it.
I mean, what about sweet potatoes?
Yeah. Now here they're interesting. Sweet potatoes and yams. Um, You can juice, they're fine, but they're gritty. They have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
starch, gritty. So you pretty much have to pour the juice in a bowl and let the starch go to the bottom. It's nice if you have some kind of glass container because then you can see it. And it takes about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then you can pour the juice off the top. I make a really delicious yam bisque with the yam juice and avocado, and
Hmm.
just like you're making a pumpkin pie, all the wonderful
I
spices.
love it. I love it.
It is so delicious, and a little coconut milk. Oh, it's creamy and delicious and wonderful. So yeah, you can get your sweetness from some vegetables. Now, beet is your highest sugar vegetable, and it doesn't taste sweet.
No, it tastes kind of like dirt a little bit,
Uh-huh.
but
It
it's
does.
it's very good for certain things, and
The
especially
li-
for the heart. And
and the liver
yeah.
and nitric acid. It's the richest source. Well, they've got those beet chews and all the infomercials. They
Oh
probably,
yeah. Oh yeah.
but nitric acid for energy. So
But everybody has a sweet tooth kind of, and they say, "Oh, I can't eat it unless it's a little sweet." But you get to where after a short period of time, you get to where you enjoy the vegetables for their taste, and it starts to taste sweet to you. And everybody thinks, like you never realized vegetables could taste so good, just from the actual taste. And if that's all you get used to it. And after a while, you don't want all that other stuff. It's just people don't want, at first they don't, I couldn't do that, but they will. And
yeah,
it's just like, I know when I was very, very, uh, you know, at the very beginning of my journey, I first thought everything was bland, but I said, I got to do this no matter what. And then I started eating all these vegetables, and and it started to taste really good to me, and I just craved it. You get to where you crave it. And
oh, you do?
and it's just And again, and I didn't have any fruit at all, and I didn't miss it at all. I never was a real big fruit eater. I ate sugar, but not fruit too much. I mean, a little bit, but occasionally, berries are good, like some good berries or something. Like cranberries are good. They're just so tart, but yeah, I mean, I understand that if you're going to have anything, these berries like blueberries and organic strawberries
Black
and yeah,
raspberry.
yeah, raspberries. Those are probably the better ones if you're gonna. But
You're low
again,
sugar.
I you don't want to get carried away with this because there you go. You want to get well,
Right.
and you have these juicing retreats that people can come and they can be with you for several days and spend time and learn how to take care of themselves better and also meet other like-minded people and all that. Tell us about that a little bit.
So, my husband and I do twice a year now in beautiful sunny Arizona up in Carefree,
Mhm.
our juice retreats, juice cleanse and healing retreats. And people have come from all over the world and have gotten well, even in our retreat is 5 days. So, even in that short a time, people have started feeling so much better or gotten well or been healed of whatever. And we have scholarships each year and partial scholarships. So if you're at a place where you can afford to, we keep our retreat costs very, very reasonable. But if you can't even afford that, then we do have scholarships and partial scholarships that you can apply for. So I want to just tell you we're spirit, soul, and body, and I do the juicing and the detox classes, and I have a food combo class where I make things for you and show you about dehydrated foods and taking the program home. But my husband, Father John, they say he's the best kept secret of it all because they love his classes in the end. Emotional detox, mental detox, classes about forgiveness, letting go of things that, can destroy your body from the soul aspect
Mm,
of mind, will, and emotions,
yeah.
and um, de-stressing and how to live from a happy heart. And they end up just loving Father John and his classes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we put it all together. We are the whole person team. We call ourselves a whole brain when we get together. And we just invite you to come because I know every single person who comes says it's been life-changing for them. So we have one in April and we have one in September. We do that every year, a spring and a fall. And please come check it out at juiceladyinfo.com. And if you need assistance, we do have scholarships. As I said, we've had some lovely people who have donated to the scholarship fund so that you can come if you need to and get some help. You can come.
Now, do people just do juices the whole time?
No, we have raw foods too, and we have really delicious raw foods. So we start off Sunday night with pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I put that in quotes. So it's a dehydrated Italian buckwheat cracker crust that I just love. I think it's out of this world. And I have some carrot pulp in it that pulls it all together. But it is, and then we have the cashew cheese over that and the pesto raw, well, all
Uh-huh.
pesto the pesto sauce over that, and then our chef decorates the top, and everybody just goes crazy over that. It's just wonderful. And salad. And then the next day on Monday is gourmet raw foods again. And then we start our 2-day, Tuesday and Wednesday juice fast, and Wednesday evening we break it with a soup and salad and dehydrated crackers. And then Thursday we have our uh, wonderful tostadas. That is again a dehydrated cracker and all sorts of wonderful goodies on top. So we do some of everything. We have the juice fasting, we have juices, we have the raw foods, and we have dehydrated snacks, kale chips, onion rings, and zucchini chips for a snack in the afternoon. So people get a variety of tastes and opportunities to cleanse, and your body does cleanse too with raw foods. So really the whole week is cleansing, but it's very gentle going in, and then our 2 days of our juice fast together.
That's wonderful. That making me hungry now. I'm starting to think about all this food and all this cashew cheese and all that sounds good.
It's so good. Yeah, everybody.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you one last thing about diet. Now, there's all these diets out there that everybody's using and, for cancer, especially the keto diet. Everybody's on, I mean, a lot of the experts use some sort of keto diet. And a lot of them talk about juicing and all that too. They love the juicing and, different types of juicing. But now what kind of diet or like kind of, I guess, ongoing diet do you recommend for somebody that's kind of going through cancer? Is it more raw foods at the beginning? Or I mean, I know the juicing is, but is it more raw foods at the beginning and then you sort of graduate, or do you just stay with that?
Well, I love to see people get a lot of raw foods in their diet. Um, so I haven't told my husband's story, but we went to Oasis of Hope when he had bladder cancer last year,
Mm-hmm. Mm,
and we liked their program a lot. It was mostly plant-based, but allowed 2 wild-caught fish meals a week, or one of those could be pastured organic chicken. Uh,
mm-hmm.
and then 2 pastured organic egg meals a week. Other than that, all plant-based, and always salads and soups made with vegetables, and some kind of vegetable or vegan main dish if it wasn't fish day. And we really liked that. And it
Yeah.
made perfect sense to me, getting lots of plants into the diet. Um, I'm concerned about heavy keto if people are eating a lot of red meat and dairy. IGF-1 is something that those 2 things stimulate. IGF-1 stimulates cancer cell
Mm,
growth, and you don't want that.
mm,
Obviously, you want to keep that out of your diet. And so I'm I'm on board with a
yeah.
mostly plant-based, but a little bit of fish, maybe a little bit of chicken, choosing the good ones, the good kind, and a little bit of egg, and then the rest wonderful plant-based foods. And I think that's a great way to go. Met
Well,
a lot
good.
of cancer survivors there at Oasis of Hope, back for their follow-ups and doing extremely well.
That's great.
Yeah, I know. I see the philosophy of keto, getting the carbs out. That's
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes,
whole,
getting the sugar out and everything.
and that I'm all for. And the start, not too much starchy vegetable like the white potatoes in particular, not getting a huge amount of those in your diet, but just to do lots of meat. I don't see the wisdom in that.
Yeah.
Done all of my
Well, yeah, and I mean it's everybody has different ideas, but I just hear that a lot, and they do different types of it might not be that much meat, but it's like some kind of a keto thing with very low carbs and very low sugar, and we're keeping it down to like 40 grams or whatever a day and of carbs, and basically trying to starve the cancer.
right,
And so I mean your program and what you're talking about is going to do the same thing. It's just going to give you more of the nutrients from vegetables, and
right,
and sometimes people do need a little protein, a little extra protein, and that's kind of how I was when I was on that healing diet. We had fish once a week, and the rest was vegetarian, pretty much vegetarian protein. And I was on a macrobiotic diet, and that was many years ago, but that was a pretty strict diet, and it was you chewed your food a lot and did all that, and it worked great for me at the time. And then I had to a few years later, I had to kind of branch out a little bit and learned about some other things. But you want to basically you know like you said, you got to be strict, you got to be really on top of things, and like diet and exercise and sleep well to let your body catch up every day and regenerate, and
oh,
it's important. A lot of people are they try to continue working and doing all this stuff that they, they're exhausted and they've got this health issue that's serious and they got to take care of themselves. And it's, some people have to take a couple of years off and, really get a hold of everything and really get on the right path.
Oh, that is for sure. And you're getting into my husband's field now, which he says you've got to get that stress down in your life because stress
Hmm.
is a huge contributor to dis-ease
Yeah.
and will raise those terrible chemicals, cortisol and adrenaline and whatever else
Yeah.
way up, shoot way up in your system, and it's not conducive to healing. So
Yeah.
you got to de-stress. And back to whatever you do, whatever diet you choose, vegetables, vegetables, vegetables. I'm now going to be the vegetable queen because I've done so much research on all those different phytonutrients. Got
Hmm.
to have those cancer fighting phytonutrients in your system, and you don't get those from animal proteins. You get them from
Hmm.
your vegetables primarily.
Well, I mean, this is great, great information. And again, give people your website again.
It's juicelady.info.com, and come there and you can read about my healing cancer, body, soul, and spirit class, Zoom classes, and about our retreats coming up this year, and my books, my various books. But the one that I would highly recommend is the Juice Lady's Guide to Juicing for Health. It's on my website, it's on Amazon, so it's easy to find.
Wonderful. It's great. Well, thanks for being here with me today. And is there anything else that you want to say that we've missed today?
Oh, there was one thing I was thinking about, and it's knowing the worst offenders of the sprayed foods. You probably have told your audience about this, ewg.org, and they'll give you the dirty dozen and the clean 15, and they'll give you, you can download an app and shop with it so that you know the absolute worst offenders you never ever want to buy conventional. And then
Right.
the other thing to look out for is the new spray that they're putting on to extend shelf life of even organic fruits and vegetables called Appeal. And you don't want that in your system. People are all across the board warning against it. And I've done a little research and found the 4 stores so far that I know are not going to carry it. Told me, I called them and told me, are Costco, Trader Joe's, Sprouts, and Natural Grocers. I don't know about others. Whole Foods is uncommitted. They won't tell you. So
Yeah.
under,
That's
but
that's
hey,
great that's great for people to know about. And people, you got to educate yourself. There's so
mhm.
much to learn and continue to learn because I mean they're poisonous out there.
Oh,
They're gonna snuff us all out. With everything and the food. It's all about money. So and when you get sick, it's all about money and on a lot of that. With different the medical side of things. So, it's a money making thing. So take control. You're in control. And hey, if I can get well and Cherie, can expel this tumor out of her and change her life for forever. And look what all she's done. And she's helping so many people. But I guess what I like to say is if I can get well and all these other people that I've interviewed can get well, and many, many, many other people I would love to interview that have gotten well. And if they can do it and we can do it, then why can't you?
yeah.
It's just it's there for the taking. Your health is God's greatest gift. It really is, and when you don't have it, it's not too much as important anymore. So take care of yourself, get well, and contact me so I can interview you. So
There you go. Yes.
yeah,
Show.
we love it. We want everybody to get well and and don't let that get pushed in the wrong direction. So, you know, that's what we do here to try to educate you. So, Cherie, thank you so much. It's so good to see you as always, and you're just a wealth of knowledge, and thank you for everything you've done over the years and continue to do. I mean, you're the best.
And you're the best. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Good
So
show.
everyone, thanks for watching. This is James Templeton. We'll see you next time. We can't wait to have another great interview like today. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.